Yes. So this is my fourth video on dynamics and statics in the playlist of UPSC Maths Optional. So far what we are doing is in the very first video we have seen the syllabus and then I have explained what should be rectilinear motion and velocity and acceleration. And in second and third video we have solved 12 problems only based on velocity and acceleration. So if you haven't watched the previous video, so please do watch previous video and can you continue to this video, right? Yeah. So in this video we are going to move on to the next topic, which is motion under constant acceleration. So still we are in rectilinear motion. So in rectilinear motion, the second subtopic is motion under constant acceleration. The first topic is velocity and acceleration, which we finish. Second topic is motion under constant acceleration, right? So if the acceleration is constant, we are going to discuss the motion, right? Yeah. So we already know, if I say rectilinear motion, a particle moves in a straight line. Suppose this is the starting point origin and this is the line OX. Let this be the position of the particle after some time t. Now we are going to discuss the motion under constant acceleration, right? Yeah. So a particle moves in a straight line. First we will see some theory and then we will work out many problems, right? A particle moves in a straight line with constant acceleration. The particle moves in a straight line with constant acceleration f. The initial velocity being u. The initial velocity being u. Discuss the motion. This is a question, right? Yes. So we're going to discuss how the motion will be when the particle moves in a straight line with constant acceleration. It's a very important topic, right? So please listen very carefully. We are going to solve many problems based on this theory only, right? Yeah. So suppose a particle moves in a straight line OX. So I'm just going to interpret what I said. Suppose a particle moves in a straight line OX, right? So OX is a straight line starting from O with velocity u. That is, u is the initial velocity, right? Yeah. So take O as origin. Let p be the position of the particle at time t. Let p be the position of the particle at any time t. So this p is the position of the particle in time t. So let OP is equal to x. So as we already discussed, right? So displacement of the particle from O to P is x. So it is given that the acceleration from traveling O to P is constant. So since acceleration is constant, so we know acceleration is d square x by dt square. So this is f and this is constant. That is d square x by dt square is equal to f. Remember, this f is constant, right? You have to treat f as a constant. If v is the velocity, of the particle at any time t, remember this u is the initial velocity, right? Suppose if you want to find the velocity at this, let v be the velocity of the particle at any time t. Then we know velocity at any time t is nothing but the rate of change of displacement. So v is dx by dt, right? Yeah. So we'll mark this equation as 1, we'll mark this equation as 2. So from 1 what we have, from 1 we have d square x by dt square is equal to f, right? So if I integrate this, what I will have, if I integrate, so this will be integral d square x by dt square, and this will be integral f, integrate with respect to t, right? Integrate with respect to t. So this will be dx by dt, and this will be ft. Since f is constant, so we can write f, we can take f outside, plus some integration constant. So let that constant be a. Now what is dx by dt? Dx by dt is b. So v is equal to ft plus a. Now we need to find the constant a, right? So to find constant a, what we will do? We will use the initial condition. So to find the constant a, so initially our velocity, initially v is same as u and time t is equal to 0, right? So at time t is equal to 0, our initial velocity is same as the velocity at any time t. So t is equal to 0, u is equal to v. So this is the initial condition we will give to find this constant a. So if v is equal to u, t is equal to 0, then this equation becomes u is equal to f into 0 plus a. So that means a is equal to u. So if I substitute back here, so we have v is equal to ft plus u. v is equal to ft plus u, or v is equal to uf plus t. So therefore v is equal to u plus ft, where u is the initial velocity, f is the acceleration which is constant here, and t be the any time. So this equation, so this mark this equation as 3. So this is very important equation. So this equation gives the velocity of the particle at any time t. This equation gives the velocity of the particle at any time t with constant acceleration. So this is the first equation, right? So if the particle is moving under constant acceleration, if you want to find the velocity, we need to find u plus ft. So this is the first very important derivation. Now, so from 3 what we have? From 3 what we have? V is equal to, from 3 we have v is equal to u plus ft, or v is same as dx by dt. So this is same as u plus ft. So this is what we have from equation number 3. So if I integrate this, what I will have? So if I integrate this, so this will be integral. So if I integrate, so the integral dx by dt, is equal to, so this will be integrate with respect to t, right? So ut plus integral ft dt. So integrate with respect to t. So this is nothing but, so integral dx by dt is nothing but x, and integral this will be ut plus, and integral dt is t square by 2. So ft square divided by 2. So we have x. So we have found displacement, right? So x is equal to ut plus 1 by 2 ft square. So we have found the displacement, right? Displacement from the origin. This is very important case. So equation 3 is very important. Equation 4 is also very important in problems. So this equation gives, so wait. So we have to add some constants, right? So if I integrate, this will be plus b. So this will be plus b. So what we will do is, first we will find the integration constant, and then we will mark this equation as 4. So this will be x is equal to ut plus 1 by 2 ft square plus b. Now to find the constant b, to find the value of the constant b, so again we use initial condition, v is equal to u, x is equal to 0. So if b is equal to, okay, what we will do is, we will use this condition to find this, because we don't have v here. So at initially our time will be 0 and x will be 0, right? So to find the constants at O, x is equal to 0, t is equal to 0. If the equation involves b, you just write b is equal to u, t is equal to 0. If the equation does not involve b here, you use this condition, which is x is equal to 0, t is equal to 0. So if I do this, we will have 0 is equal to 0 plus b. So this implies b is equal to 0. Because you can see this is 0, t is 0, t is 0. So we will have b is equal to 0. So we have x is equal to ut plus 1 by 2 f into t square. This is again a very important equation. So we'll mark this equation as 4. So this equation gives the velocity of the particle at time t. So this equation gives the position, very important, right? This equation gives the position of the particle at any time t. At any time t. So this equation gives the position of the particle at any time t from O, right? This is very important case. So these two are very important motion. So if the motion is under constant acceleration, in order to find the velocity, we need to find u plus ft. If you need to find the position at some time, you need to find x is equal to ut plus 1 by 2 ft square. So f is the acceleration, t is the time, and u is the initial velocity, right? Yeah. Now let me derive some more equation. So from 1 we will have, so these two are very important. So we will also derive one more equation. So from 1 we have d square x by dt square is equal to f, right? This is what we have from equation 1. Now this is nothing but the acceleration, right? So I can also write this as v into dv by dx, which we see in the previous videos, is equal to f. So I can also write this equation as v dv is equal to f dx. So if I integrate this, we will have, okay, what we do is, let me multiply 2 to both sides, right? 2 to both sides. So if I integrate this, what we will have? So this will be 2v square by 2, and this will be 2fx plus some arbitrary constant, right? So 2fx plus c. Now this will be v square is equal to 2fx plus c. Now in order to find c, so to find c, substitute v is equal to u, x is equal to 0. So if v is equal to u, x is equal to 0, we will have c is equal to u. Because you can see this is u square, c is equal to u square, right? C is equal to u square. So therefore equation of motion can also be written as v square is equal to u square plus 2fx. This is one more equation you have to know when solving the problem, right? So this is equation number 5. So equation number 3, 4, 5 are very important formula for problem solving, right? So equation number 3 gives the velocity at any time t when the motion is constant acceleration, and then this gives the position of the particle at any time t when from the origin. And again this relation can also be established. This will be useful in solving the problem, right? So v square is equal to u square plus 2fx means you have to understand that motion is a constant acceleration. So this is same as this, v square is equal to u square plus 2fx. So now we'll move on to solving problem. So you have to memorize now itself. V is equal to u plus ft is the velocity at any time t, and the position of the particle anytime t from the origin is ut plus 1 by 2 ft square, and this understand, right? V square is equal to u square plus 2fx. So now we'll get on to the first problem that is based on constant acceleration, right? Yes. So a particle moves in a straight line with constant acceleration, and its distance from the origin on the line not necessarily the position at time t is equal to 0 at time t1, t2, t3 are x1, x2, x3 respectively. Show that if t1, t2, t3 form an AP whose common difference is d and then x1, x2, x3 are in GP, then acceleration is square root of x1 minus square root of x3 square by d square. So what, it's a very important question and interesting question also. So what here they say is, so a particle is moving in a straight line. A particle is moving in a straight line, right? Now this is the starting point. Now they are saying that it is not necessarily the position at time t is equal to 0. So they are moving at 3 different times. So it is not that we should always start with O to go to 3 different positions. So let us assume that we are starting here, right? So we are starting here. So let that point be D, right? Let that point be D, because they are saying that they are not necessarily at time t is equal to 0. This is the position time t is equal to 0, right? We can also start here also, but from here we are moving to t different times. So this is the position of the particle at time t1, and we are going, and this is the position of the particle at time t2, and this is the position of the particle at time t3. Now the point at time t1, it's a very important case here. The distance from the origin on the line at time t1, t2, t3 are x1, x2, x3 respectively. That is the distance from the origin to this. That is from here to here, the distance is x1. That is from here to here, the distance is x1. Right? So let us take this as A, this is B, and this is C. Let us take this A, B, C. Now OA, that is they are saying that distance from the origin on the line not necessarily at position time to 0, at time t1, t2, t3 are. So at time t1 the distance from the origin is A, x1. Remember, we are traveling from D1 to A at T1, but the distance is from O to A, right? Yes. Now again from D to T2, right? From time T2, at the times T2, we have the distance to be x2. That is at here, this is x2 from the origin. That is from here, that is O to B. O to B. O to B is x2, and O to C at time t3 is x3. So O to C. So this is OC equal to x3, and this is OA, and this is OB. Right? This is the question now. Now we are starting at D. We are moving. We are getting into this position at time t1, and this and the distance from A to origin is x1. And we are traveling at time t2 from here to here, and the distance from O to B is x2. That's what they are given, and they are giving that this x1, this x2, and this x3 are in AP. Now you know what's AP, right? Arithmetic progression. That is A plus D, A plus 2D in this form, right? A plus n minus 1D. So that is, for example, T1, T2 can be like this, 2, 4, 6. Or it can be like 3, 6, 9. That is the common difference has to be same, right? Yeah. For example, at time t is equal to 2, the distance is x1. At time t is equal to 4, right? Yes. Remember, this time t1 is from D to A, and time t2 is from D to B, and time t3 is from D to C, because t is the time t is equal to 0. From here only we are starting moving, right? We are not moving from O, right? Because they are saying that not necessarily the position time t is equal to 0. It is not necessary that we should always start here and then t1, t2, t3. We are starting at here. So let this distance be C. Let this distance be C. Now it is given that t1, t2, t3 are in AP, and this x1, x2, x3 are in GP. This x1, x2, x3 are in GP. That is, you know what's simply GP, right? So AR square. If this is a GP. For example, it can be like 2, 4, 8, right? x1, x2, x3 can be like 2, 4, 8. Here a is 2, r is 2, all 2 again. Now we have to prove that the acceleration is square root of x1 minus square root of x3 whole square divided by d square. So first I will write whatever I said here, right? Yes. So let O be the origin and D be the start point. Let O be the origin and D be the start point. That is, we are starting at that stage. D be the starting point. That is T is equal to 0, right? That is T is equal to 0. Let OD is equal to C. Let OD is equal to C. That is, we are starting at this time only. So let this distance be C. Let OD is equal to C. Suppose U is the initial velocity and F be the constant acceleration. Because they are giving that the particle is moving a straight line with constant acceleration, right? So F be constant acceleration. Let A, B, C be the position of the particle after time t1, t2, t3. Let A, B, C be position of the particle at time t1, t2, t3 respectively, and let OA is equal to x1, OB equal to x2, OC equal to x3, right? That is what I have said here. Now first we will find the position of the particle at A, and then we'll find the position of the particle at B, and then we'll find the position of the particle at C, right? Yes. Now first we will find the position of the particle at A, right? So we know that if the particle starts from the origin, the position of the particle will be, that's what I derived earlier, right? So remember, at time t is equal to 0, x is equal to 0, the position is x is equal to ut plus 1 by 2 ft square. This equation gives the position of the particle at any time t from O, right? Yes. So this equation gives, remember, this has to be, this line is very important. This equation gives the position of the particle anytime t, from t is equal to 0, right? Or rather from t is equal to 0, right? We will not write O, from t is equal to 0. Now what will be the position of the particle here, right? Position of the particle from here, we know. So that is, we need to start from here, right? We need to start from here. So if the particle starts from here, the position will be ut plus, okay, let me write it down, and then I'll make it clear. We know that position of the particle is x is equal to ut plus 1 by 2 ft square from O, right? From the starting point. But here you can see the starting point is Z. That is, we are finding the position of the particle from D, right? We are not finding from O. But here what we are doing is, because the starting point is D here, it is not O. Here we need to find the position of the particle from D, from D. So you can see from D, what will be my distance? So you can see this OA. So if I want to find this distance, what I can do is I can write, if I want to find DA, from OA, if I subtract OD, I will get DA, right? So OA minus OD will give you DA. So therefore, so this will be x1 minus C is equal to UT plus 1 by 2 FT square. Because you can see in order to find this, what you need to do is OA is x1 and this is T. So x1 minus C will give you this length. So therefore x1 minus C is equal to UT plus 1 by 2 FT square. That is, this gives the position of the particle at A, right? At A. Now what will be the position of the particle at B? So it will be dB, right? dB. So in order to find dB, what we need to do? OB minus OD, right? So in order to find this distance dB, so we need to subtract OB minus OD. So OB is x2, so x2 minus 3. So position of the particle at A is x1 minus C is equal to UT plus 1 by 2 AT square. So position of the particle at B. So similarly, at B will be x2 minus C is equal to, so this is time 1, right? So t1, so we mark this as t1, and this is ut2 plus 1 by 2 f t2 square, and at what will be a position of the particle at C? So at C will be, that is, we need to find DC. So in order to find DC, we can write DC as OC minus OD. So OC is x3, so x3 minus C. So at C, the position is x3 minus C is equal to ut3 plus 1 by 2 f t3 square, right? So mark this equation as 1 and I mark this as 2. Now what I'm going to do is I need to eliminate C. How can I eliminate C? Right? How can I eliminate C? So what I'm going to do is I'm going to add x1 and x3. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to add x1 and x3, and I'm going to subtract minus 2 times x2. So if I add x1 and x3, you can see this will be minus C. That is, I'm just doing 1 plus, sorry, this is 1, this is 2, this is 3. So what I'm going to do is 1 plus 3 minus 2 into 2. So if I do this, 1 plus C will be minus C minus C. So minus C will be minus 2C minus 2C. Now here we'll have minus C. So not eliminate C, I need to multiply plus 2, right? Generally it will be 0. So yes, minus 2C. So generally it will be minus 2C. So it will be 1 plus 3 minus 2 times 2. So if I do that, we will have x1 plus x3. If I multiply minus here, we will have minus 2x2. So this will get vanished. So again, this will be, I need to multiply 2 here, and then I need to add all. So if I do this, this will be, if I take u common, we will have t1 plus t3. That is, we are adding 1 plus 3, and then we are multiplying minus 2. So it will be minus 2t2. And here, if I take 1 by 2 f common here, so we are adding 1 and 3. So t1 square plus t3 square, and then we are subtracting minus 2 to equation number 2. So I'm sure that you are following up to now. So why I am doing this, because you come to know very soon. So these are 3 equations. So I'm just eliminating the C. So you can also add these 2 equations and then multiply 2 here. So whatever you can do, but if I do this, you will get answer very quickly, right? So I'm adding 1 and 3, so it will be minus 2C. So here you have only minus C. So I need to multiply minus 2 here, so that we will have plus 2C. So minus 2C plus 2C will become 0. That is, I'm adding 1 and 3, and then I'm multiplying 2 to equation number 2. So we will have this equation, right? Yes. Now, given, what is given? x1, x2, x3, are in GP, are in GP. So if x1, x2, x3 are in GP, for example, if you take these three numbers, so these three are in GP. So this is our x1, this is our x2, sorry, 8. This is our x3. So you know a basic relation in GP, right? So if x1, x2, x3 are in GP, I can write x2 as square root of x1 into x3. You can see here I can write 4 as square root of 2 into 8. That is square root of 16. So I can write the middle number as product of these two numbers into square root. So since given x1, x2, x3 are in GP, I can write x2 as square root of x1 into x3. So this is the first case. And also given T1, T2, T3 are in AP. For example, 246 is an AP. Now here I can write this as, so what is the relation between here? This is our T1, this is our T2, this is our T3. So T1 plus T3. So T1 plus T3 is 8. This is same as 2 times T2, right? So T1 plus T3 is equal to 2T2. So these are very fundamentals. So if three numbers are in AP and three numbers are in GP, so these two results are very common, right? So if you add the first and third term, it will be equal to twice of that first term. And if you subtract T3 minus T1, it will be same as the common difference, right? This is very obvious. So T3 minus T1 is 2D, right? 2 times the common difference. So if we subtract, it will be 6 minus 2. 6 minus 2 is 4. You can see common difference is 2. This is 2 times of 2. So these three are very fundamental result if three terms are in AP or in GP, right? Yes. So I'm going to use these three terms here, right? Yes. Now I'll keep x1 plus x3 as it is. In place of x2, I'm going to write this as square root of x1 into x3, right? I'm going to write x2 and x3. Now this will be u into, in place of t1 and t3, I can write this as 2t2 minus 2t2 is already there, plus 1 by 2 f into t1 square plus t3 square, and I can write t2 as, from here I can write t2 as t1 plus t3 divided by 2. So this I can write this as t1 plus t3 divided by 2, right? Yes. So you'll come to know soon why I'm doing this. So this term will be vanished because 0. So this will be x1. Okay, I can write this as square root of x1 plus square root of x3 whole square, right? Or I should have minus here. You can write this as square root of x1 minus square root of x3 whole square. So this will be a square plus b square minus 2 times ab. So here we will have 1 by 2 f into. So if I take this t1 by 2. So if I take 2 outside here, we will have t1 square plus t3 square minus t1 square plus t3 square plus 2 t1 t3. I'm just expanding in a plus b whole square formula, divided by 4. Now if I take LCM here, you will have, this is 1 by 2 f of actually I missed 2 here, I think, right? It is 2 t2 square. So it will be 2 into t2 square. So we will have 2 here. This will be 1 by 2. Now if I take 1 by 2 LCM here, we will have 2 t1 square plus 2 t3 square minus t1 square minus t3 square minus 2 t1 t3 divided by 2. So this will be 1 by 4 f of So 2t1 square minus t1 square is t1 square. 2t3 minus t3 square is t3 square. So we will have minus 2 t1 t3. So this will be 1 by 4 f into, so I can write this as t1 minus t3 whole square. So t1 minus t3 is nothing but 2d, right? So t1 minus t3 is nothing but 2d. So I can write this as, if I take minus outside also no problem because square here. I can write this as 1 by 4 f into 2d whole square. So this is nothing but square root of x1 minus square root of x3 whole square. So this I can write this as f4d square divided by 4. So I can cancel f4 outside. So f is equal to square root of x1 minus square root of x3 whole square divided by d square. That is, the acceleration is equal to square root of x1 minus square root of x3 whole square divided by d square. That is what we need to prove, right? Yes. Now I think you will be following from up to here. You may wonder why I am taking as x1, why I am doing like this. I am just eliminating the arbitrary constant. So since you can see, since this equation does not contain x2, so why I am doing like this, because I need to eliminate x2 also, right? So I can write x2 as x1 into x3. So that's why I'm making in second equation substitution, right? So if I do here, it will be 2x2, and then you can also do this in any way. Whatever you do, you have to use these three, right? You have to these three. This x2 is equal to square root of x1 into x3, and t1 plus t3 is equal to 2t2. So with the help of these three conditions, I'm just substituting here. Then you will get the required answer. Actually, this problem is very easy. The only thing is you have to make this equation, and from this equation you need to substitute these three data. So it is given that it is GP, it is AP. So if you substitute these three conditions here, you will get the answer automatically, very easily, right? Yes. So what we seen in this video is we have seen the theory of a motion under constant acceleration, and then we have solved one problem. So the next video what we will do is we will continue solving the second problem, which is the 14th problem. That is, two cars start off race with a velocity u and u dash and travel in a straight line with uniform acceleration f and f dash. If the race ends in a dead heat, prove that the length of the course is 2 into u minus u dash uf dash minus u dash f by f minus f dash whole square. So that's it. We'll see in the next video. The next video will continue solving this problem and more problem also, right? So goodbye. Thank you.